most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Because
therapist.
we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course,
I
Bob.
thought I really enunciated well today.
Yes, you've been practicing, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Today we're talking about the 5 best wrist forearm strengthening exercises at home, starting or beginner to advanced. I'm sorry, we didn't change it on the thing. It's beginner to advanced.
Right.
So this is going to be for the person who maybe had surgery and they're beyond range of motion. They're starting to get into the strengthening. Or if you're just really deconditioned, or if you're just the average person, but your arms and wrists are quite weak.
Right. And you don't want to hit it too hard, too fast.
No, because it'll break down.
And you could get wrist pain. We had one person who contacted us on that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too.
But if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free. We upload every day. Also, join us on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and bobandbrad.com. What are we giving away right now? Nothing. Oh, we're going to give away something tomorrow.
Tomorrow on Sunday we're starting.
Yeah, we're giving away the donut.
Yeah, well, don't worry about it. We got to get strengthening.
We're going to give away 1 donut to eat. You'll have to check in to see what it is. So, yeah.
All right.
Go to Bob and Brad giveaways. It's always on there. They'll explain things better than we do today.
You bet. So, for wrist strengthening, we're assuming that
wrist and forearm.
Wrist, right, exactly. Wrist and forearm, they're all part of the same in my mind, but not for everyone. But we're going to assume you already have normal range of motion. If it's after an injury, we're going to have a video
pain-free range of motion that you can do it.
We're going to have a video on how to get that if you're a little tight before you start strengthening. But anyways, we have full pain-free range of motion, but it's weak. Or you just want to get stronger. So again, beginning all the way to the advanced in about 3 or 4 minutes.
And what you should understand is that the muscles of the wrist are actually coming from the forearm.
Right.
So that's why we're strengthening the forearm too when we strengthen the wrist.
Exactly.
So that's where all the action occurs.
You want this, Bob?
Sure.
Now, if you're fairly weak, you're going to...
Here's a 1 pound dumbbell.
Yep.
This is a little bit heavy for me.
If you want something a little more, we got a 10-pound one. So whatever works for you or whatever you have available.
But you can kind of even roll the fingers down a little bit like this and then bring it all the way up.
Which is a really good idea because the fingers and the wrist and the forearm are really one unit. And you don't want to, if you want to get a good strength, you want to strengthen them all together if you can.
But let me, just warn you, don't drop it on your foot. I mean, so get yourself in a position where the foot's not going to be in play.
Sure.
So you can just put your foot back further there.
I got an injury on my thumb, so don't get too excited about that. It's fine. I'm going to be okay.
That's probably from the hammer that we're seeing back there. So.
Now we want to make sure we do the other direction too. And you notice how we have our forearms resting on our thigh. Don't do this in the air. You can, but it's much better to isolate if you do it as such. And whoa, you'll find out that your extender muscles are typically always quite a bit weaker than your flexors.
Absolutely. These fatigue a lot more rapidly on me than the flexors.
Right.
And are you going to do ulnar?
Yeah, we can do ulnar this direction.
That's radial.
Oh, radio. Yeah, ulnar we can't. It's hard to do.
It's hard to do ulnar unless you probably go like this.
Right. I'm going to skip it. It's not that functional.
That's right.
10 to 15 reps is what I'm going to recommend, and you should get a tired wrist. And when that gets too easy, you either go to a bigger dumbbell or we have whatever's coming up next, which we'll show you.
You can use a soup can too to start off with if you wanted to. It's just a little harder to grab on.
Right, and you're not going to go more than a pound.
Right.
You get one of those industrial commercial 5-gallon soup
you could take a milk jug and,
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
So.
All right. The next thing is if you have stretch band, this is a good way. And so this is band. This is pretty much beginner.
I think we call it more of an exercise band.
Sure.
But you can buy these in small lengths or you can buy them in big rolls. I mean,
you only need a few feet. This I don't particularly like. It works if you haven't. It'll be fine. But
what's nice, it gives you resistance throughout.
Right.
And it's a good starter thing. Again, we put it after the weights just because, to me, it gives resistance throughout, and that only gives resistance through the peak points.
Right.
But
either way,
very
it's
common in therapy to have this.
It's fairly beginner. I've given this to many patients and had them start with this.
Right.
And then once it starts to improve and they can do 10 to 15 reps, and they're looking for more weight or something a little more functional, then we're going to go to, the other part that you cannot get with that is rotation, which is really
Gotcha.
critical for wrist strength. Opening doorknobs, all
Very functional.
very functional.
You run into it in life a lot.
Yeah. So what I like to do with my patients, so you don't have to go out and buy something fancy, is you simply, most people have a hammer at
Sure.
home, and you take a hammer and you put it on a table just like I have here. Again, the forearm flat on the table. We're going to do it like this so you can see what's going on. And then for rotation, you're going to use the weight of the hammer and the length of the handle for leverage, and you just rotate this way and this way. And when it's weak, you can start out here. When
Yeah,
that gets
not nearly as tough.
right, it's all the physics of it, the lever arm, and if you can do 10 to 15 reps that way without pain, you're going to go up to here, work it all the way up to here. Now this is a smaller hammer, and if you have to,
But I'll bet you're starting to feel fatigue already, aren't you?
no, Bob, I'm strong.
Oh, I guess not. Strong like bull.
No, actually, Bob's right. That one would, but I got a fairly healthy wrist and forearm. It's just my thumb that's injured. But I would probably go to a hammer this size and go to here, or we've got another option that gets even a little more aggressive there.
I guess you could take a sledgehammer and
Yeah, get the 12-pounder out, which
Yeah.
I did that on a video a few years ago. I don't know if you remember
you did
that. You can also do this. Now, if you
Radial
are in a
deviation.
trades, you're going to want this, particularly if you're swinging a hammer, to strengthen as well.
I didn't like the fact that you aimed that at me while you were
Why?
doing that.
Well,
Like
it's
you
a
was-
subconscious
To
thing,
me,
Bob.
it felt like you had something in mind there.
Here, take the booyah stick, Bob. Whoa.
What are we doing?
We're going to do the same thing now. You can take a cane. I've had people do this. Just take a cane
Oh, sure.
or a piece of doweling or a broom handle. That's a little bit longer. And you do the same thing. Now, if you put your hand right in the middle, if you're going to use something like this, it's not much weight
Right.
resistance at all. But you're getting some motion. And then if you simply move up a little bit, Bob took the big jump.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can bop Bob in the head. But here you got the same thing. And you're going to do this slow, good control. Again, 10 to 15 repetitions. And you
Yeah.
can work it forward. Now,
Definitely.
this works a little bit better this direction than the hammer does, actually. You get a little stretch.
It
Again,
surprises me, Brad. This actually works pretty well.
I know it, Bob. Don't overdo it. And you
Yeah.
can get radial deviation just by going back this way. Watch out for people or the wall or a window behind you. Slow, good control is what we're looking for.
Like
in
I'm
this.
practicing casting.
Yep. Now, Bob, we're going to get into the advanced.
Gotcha.
Now, this is for people who, if you're working with very aggressive grip needed, rock climbers, people in sports, you really want
Right. If
maximum
you want to improve
strength.
your golf, that's what it helped me. And I actually, again, I told this story a number of times, but I stopped using it. I used it one year, and I was like, well, my drives are going better. I'm hitting the ball farther. Then I stopped using it, thinking, I just changed my technique and stuff, and my distance went way down. So I am using this 2 to 3 times a week, Brad, because
Right.
you don't mess with my golf game.
Right, exactly. And if you're not a golfer and you have other activities, hockey player,
Yeah, if you get that slap shot,
Yep, baseball.
If you're baseball, if you're a wrestler, I can
Mhm.
definitely see how you don't want to.
Yep, you take the grip strengthener. It has resistance bands, and they're pretty aggressive. But you can start out weak, and you can just use 1 or 2. But you can go up to 4, and I guarantee you, this was invented by a rock climber. It's the ticket for maximum grip.
It is the Bob
strength.
and Brad grip strengthener though, but Jay Heisel invented it.
Right.
Does say strong like bull on one
There
side.
you go. I'm going to do mine with just 2 bands, and I'm going to leave 2 loose.
And I'm gonna do it all 4.
Now, again, the forearms go on the thighs or the knees. Bob's going to show a little bit different
Yeah,
technique.
I'm a little inside here because I'm
Yep.
a little taller.
Right.
I can go up on top, but then when I go on top, then I would probably cut down the number of bands I'm doing
Yep.
too. But-
Sure.
So
Now you want to roll all the way down till your fingers are just so you almost dropping the handle, but you're going to roll up as far as
yeah,
you can.
and you bring it way up. That's where you really feel the money.
And then if you just spread your feet apart, it gets a little bit more difficult. And if you want to go more, you simply add another band on. That's what I would do. Bob is already there.
But again, I warn you, do not do this every day.
Right.
I started off doing it every day, and my forearms got so sore, I had to stop for a month.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you literally.
Unless you're experienced in strengthening and you know what you're doing, but even those people
No,
go
you
every
know,
other day.
You want that day for the for the muscles to recover.
Sure.
And just like any other muscle. And then when I go to the radial deviation on this, I always have to cut down.
Yeah, cut down.
And I got my fingers underneath the handles, and I'm going like this, pulling up like that.
So yeah, instead of wrist up, we got our palms up. We're going palms towards the middle.
Towards each other.
Yep.
Right?
And again, 10 to 15 reps. Get fatigued and relax. If you want to do 3 sets, that's getting pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you're healthy and you're really going out.
That's what I do. I do 3 sets of each one.
3 sets of 10?
Well, what I do, 3 sets of 10 to 12, depending on fatigue. I'll do all 3 in a row.
Okay.
I go this way, and then I rest.
So we didn't mention extension. So palm down. So palm up, palm in, and palm down will give you 3 planes of the wrist.
This is the one that really tends to pump my forearms up like Popeye. And so if you're trying to impress opposite sex in your life or same sex, I don't care. You go ahead and pump it up. And roll your sleeves up then.
Yeah, and actually, you know, this is nice. We're obviously doing with our work clothes on because we need to go to work right after this. But you can do this at work if you're an office job. If you're,
I'm busting out of my shirt, Brad.
Right. If you work in the, as a tradesman or a craftsman, you can do it there too. But you probably don't need to at home in the gym.
This thing is heavy duty. This is pipe made out of steel pipe. You can take your car and roll your truck over it.
Yeah, it's true.
So what are you laughing about?
I'm just amazed, Bob.
Strong like bull.
Oh, it's
Yeehaw.
12 minutes. Holy cow.